Welcome to the Scrum chat room. It's another day to share with you what is happening in the agile space. And today, I'm going to pay more attention in answering your questions. We've been having the last 4 days discussing on different concepts. The first day we discussed on Scrum event, then we discussed on PI planning, then we discussed on release planning, and then yesterday we spoke about the mindset, why many people can get a job, and today we want to look at how we can answer most of your questions. But before I start taking your questions, I want to share within the next 5 or 10 minutes so that at least we'll learn something, right? Within the next 5 or 10 minutes, I want to share more about agile product management. How can you visualize or how can you understand agile in a snapshot? So I'm going to share that. Why I go ahead to zoom into that conversation on agile project management summary within 5 minutes. Go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know where you're connecting from, and also if you know someone who you know they're gonna benefit from this session, feel free to share the link with them or simply just share on your profile. Let anyone that want to come and join. It's free space to ask your questions, right, and to get direction. One of the most essential thing in the field of knowledge is getting the right information. You probably might be investing yourself in studying, but then you might be studying what is not needed. So the goal for today is to make sure that everyone have what they need to go to where they want to go to, right? So that's so oh Calvin, I see Calvin right there. I see Donovan right there joining. Thanks for joining, and I see Bright Brown also joining. I see Mike also joining, connecting from London with the borough, and also actually joining so many people joining. Okay, that's great, and you can already see keeping some of your question answering. But then let me walk you through our agile product management, how to understand it from start to end. Most often when we talk about Scrum, or when we talk about Scrum, we often think about Scrum as if we are talking about events and facilitating events and removing impediments, right? Most often when we hear about Scrum Master or when we hear about Agile, many people think, oh, it's something you just need to learn how to facilitate events and remove impediment. That is good, right? Scrum is centered around how to help a team succeed. But for you to understand the entire agile project management as a whole, there are a couple of stuff which are going to help you really keep it simple. Now think about yourself. Let's say that you want to make a decision, right? You want to make a decision to start a business. Yeah, that's a practical example. You want to make a decision to start a business. How do you make that decision? Right? You make that decision first of all. Maybe if you married, you talk with your spouse, or maybe you have a mentor, you talk with your mentor. And then when you actually talk with that mentor, you can decide how much budget you have in the place and all of that. And then when you get that settled, and then you can now go to start looking at the business plan. When you have the business plan settled and you figure out how the finance are going to work, then you can now hire the worker to start working. Now, one thing you realize is that that engages several layers of decision. The same thing when we talk about agile product management, there are several layers of planning that get us down to the Scrum team. So most often we treat Scrum as if it's the only thing that happens within the agile space, and because of that limited understanding, it becomes difficult for us to understand what we need to learn and the effort that we need to put in to get to where we're going to. Now, for any Scrum project, before a Scrum project ever happens, before we launch a Scrum project, it doesn't start by hiring a Scrum team. No, it starts by at the portfolio level. Now, let me talk about the three different layers within the Agile framework, right? We have the portfolio level. Portfolio levels are those who have the power to make the decision, right, and power to negotiate the businesses and all of that. Now, those who have the power to make the decisions on should we go with this project and all of that, you hardly see them at the level of the Scrum. So when they make that power to say, you know what, we want to implement this project for this specific goal in the company, and this is the budget line we have. What happened? They push it down to those who want need to implement, which is the program level, right? Which is the reason why at Scrum level you focus a lot on your product manager. The product manager sit at the program level. Now they push it to them, and then they figure out what is the practical. Now, when we talk about leadership, we're talking about making decisions in the mind. When we move to program level, we are talking about what managing decisions that has been made. So we have those who make a decision, we have those who manage a decision, we have those who implement the decision. So Scrum or Scrum Master sit at the level of those who implement the decision. And that is why, as a Scrum Master, we don't talk about budget, right? Because we don't have the management power, we are the implementer, right? Now, at the program level, we have managers, they manage the decision that is coming out from upper management. So, most often, when they say you are collaborating with leadership as a Scrum Master, you're collaborating with those at the program level, most often not with those at the decision or portfolio level. So, in that case, you realize that when we talk about agile project management or agile product delivery, we are hosting planning at the leadership level, we are hosting planning at the program level, and then we are hosting planning at the team level. So planning that happens at the team level is affected by what decisions are happening at the management level, which is in turn affected by decisions that are happening at the leadership level. The reason why one of the questions you hardly miss in an interview is how do you manage change in requirements? Now, the reason they're asking you why you will manage change in requirement is because you don't have the power to decide. You're implementing. Even at the level of management, your management might be pushing work to you because they don't have the final decision. Decision comes from leadership. And from up to down, all of these decisions are affected by the market situation, they're affected by customer communication, but affected by the time and also affected by the resources make available throughout all of these pipelines. So in that case, if you now have the understanding that as a Scrum Master, you're working at the implementation level and how the implementation level relate to the program level and how the program level relate to a leadership level, then it gives you a clear, better understanding. Let me now apply how that understanding can help you. Now you're in a Scrum interview and someone say, okay, how will you manage changes in requirement in the middle of the sprint? If you don't have this understanding that the implementation is linked to program and is into portfolio, which is leadership, and all of this can be affected by customer or by the market situation or by resources, what are you going to say? Your answer will be as simple as, okay, if I have requirement coming in the middle of the sprint, I'm going to look at the priority of these um, of these requirements. I'm going to see if I can push it to the next sprint, or I'm going to see if we can do it in this sprint. Right now, you answer that question because you're feeling like you have the sole power at the level of the team to decide what happened there. But when you have the understanding that all of these decisions are happening because of layers, now your response would be like, okay, if I have requirement coming in the middle of the sprint, the first I'm going to look at why are we having these changes? Is it because of from the management level, from portfolio level? What is the chain that is affecting these changes? Now, when you have that understanding, you document them because resolving the problem might not be at the team level. You might need now to step one step higher to have a conversation with management, or you might need to even engage leadership in the whole process. Now, when I have now an understanding of what actually initiated the change, I also want to understand, is it something that's momentarily? Is it something that is going to be constant? Because I need to coach and prepare my team. Now, when I understand what is the root cause, then I can now better look at how we can prioritize it because I understand the rationale why these changes are happening. Now we can look at prioritizing, either prioritizing the backlog, or we can look at maybe doing trade by swapping out stuff, and also at the same time, we can look at should we just wait for the next sprint to go. Now, as a scrum master, you are the coach of your team, right? Which means that you even have the power to coach management. Trust me, you have that power. But because many of us don't understand the strength of a scrum master, and we don't understand what we need to do because we have actually also not taken time to practice, what happens? We often just by go with what the manager says. Oh, my manager asked me to do this, and then most of the POs in the companies have also been there for a long time. So since they work with Scrum Master who do not really understand their roles, they also start acting as your manager. And now you see yourself in a tight corner where everybody's asking you to do stuff. You get overwhelmed and you get stressed. But when you understand exactly this end-to-end process, when they ask you, "Oh, I need you to implement," wait a minute, yes, I want to implement this, but I want to understand why we are doing this. And by the time you ask them one or two, three, four follow-up questions, they understand that you know exactly what you're doing. And what happened? Let you go. I have one of our team member in our community of practice, and when she got into her job, like, oh, you need to do this, you need to increase limit in progress, you need to do this, we're expecting you to do this. Everybody was on the back to like, oh, we need to do this, want to see this. And then when I have a conversation with her, I was like, okay, look, all of this is going to happen, but then have you understood the product? Understand the product, understand the flow of requirement, understand what are the major bottlenecks, and then do a quick analysis. Have a meeting with your manager. Like, okay, look, I've just been here for a week. I cannot really give any concrete suggestion on what we need to change or not. I see so many requests coming in, but then these are my observation, and based on this data, I don't yet have the power to implement this, except you just want me to implement for implementing sake. But if we want to get real result, then we need to spend time to observe this, see what is causing this, see what's causing this. And after she had that conversation with the manager like, wow, this is what we have been missing. It's like, do you also have someone who you can recommend to work with us? Now, this is when you understand it. And understanding, trust me, I always say this over and over again, is not only by you watching YouTube videos or so, it's by you practicing and getting yourself in a community where this is shared. Now, this was shared in our community, right? Imagine you're there. You already master what you need to do before you even get on your first day at work. So it helps you a lot to make sure that you're doing just the right thing. Right. So it's very important. Take your time, do the learning. I know for many people, you're working more like on, okay, I need to get this by this. I want to get this by this. I don't have time. uh the scrum market or any leadership market, they're not careful about your emotions, about how quick you want stuff. No, you can go through the shorter way. It's how effective you need to get this stuff done, and you need to take your time to be able to do this, okay. So let me take now time and answer your question. And for those who might be interested in getting into our community, you can send me a text, right? Not a call, a text. Send me a text. I'm interested in getting more practical experience so that I can get a job, and we'll take it from there. I'm just going to display my number for a moment on the screen, and keep your questions coming. I will be taking your questions in a moment. I will be taking all your questions in a bit. So please feel free and go in there and start putting in your questions, and I'll start taking them. I think that for the next 10 to 15 minutes, I want to make sure that I answer almost every question that's put in there, and then let's call it a day. Yeah. Okay. So, questions. Question. What about if a recruiter? Okay, this question. What about if a recruiter interview asks the question? Brief summary of some of the project where you have worked as a Scrum Master and any achievement metrics around those. Yes, you need. Shalane, you need to know this. When you work as a Scrum Master, okay, how am I gonna put it? This is for anyone. You have a Scrum resume for any position you have in that resume, you need to be able to come up with a concrete case study of what project you were working on, what type of project was it, what type of project was it that you were working on, what was your team composition, what are some of the major conflicts, what were some of your major wins. You need to come up with for all the project, right? When we talk about community of practice, these are the practical stuff that we do there, right? And this is stuff that most often, if you have not worked in a scrum environment, or if you don't work with someone that has been in a scrum environment, you may never figure out how this happened, right? So these are the very practical stuff you need to engage and learn from there. Do you have any advice for breaking into scrum for a new certified scrum master? Yes, join a community of practice. Now, a community of practice is not about attending and getting a Scrum certification. With all due respect to all my coaches that teaches PSM and so, most often you might attend a 5 weeks, a 6 weeks, whatsoever weeks boot camp, but all they are doing is teaching you the concept. Teaching the concept is different from practice. Now, in my community, we have three different levels. We have level one, which teach you the concept and every basic thing you need to know about the concept. Level two, that gets you into the practical. You have the opportunity to learn to facilitate as a Scrum Master. We give you real life projects, you can work on them, and this is what brings you the confidence to go into a job. So if we don't actually walk you through and pre-interview you and validate you, we're not going to advise you to go into the job market, except you really want to go into the job market without our approval. Right now, this builds the confidence for you to get into the job market, and you're not careful if you know what to do on the first day because you've gone through that, right? And this is also the reason why most of our students will go through the processes. By the time they're getting jobs, they're getting two offers, three offers. Why? The job market is not saturated. They're just looking for people who understand exactly what they need to do, and it's about going through the process. It does not necessarily need to be my community. It can also be uh, any community that does what they need to do, right? It can be any community that does what they need to do. If they can do that, perfect. Then good. Um, let's practice with them. Let them help us. Okay. Our next question says that will this recording be available? Yes, it's available. I think if you go to my profile or if you go to my YouTube page, Scrum Chat Room, you always see all the recordings, right? The recordings are available. Um, Perfect. So I think we've answered almost all the questions, but I think what was the key, our key point of today, if I can throw more emphasis and a summary on that. The key emphasis was you need to understand the end to the end to end process on project management. And when you understand that, when you're answering a question, you answer like a pro, right? And I did talk about three levels. That there's a decision layer, there's a management layer, and there's an implementation layer. The Scrum Master sit at the implementation layer, right? And that's why you always report to the product manager. They sit, they manage the project, and then those who now make a decision if we should implement this type of project are what at the leader. Now, at this level, the roadmap sit at the program level. The product roadmap sit at the program level, right? Now, as also the program level, between the program level and the implementation level, even the release planning sit at the a program level. And that's why you can be a scrum master and then you don't have experience in release planning, right? So it's not all scrum at the end, it's not all scrum master, not all the scrum master will have experience in release planning. You might actually work in a company and release planning have nothing to do with implementation at the team level, Right. So these are the levels of understanding that you need in order to move through. Oh, I see Coach Ben. Coach Ben says, can you give three things I should watch out for while joining a new environment? Okay. Three things you watch out for. Coach Ben, hello to Coach Ben. Coach Ben is joining from Germany, right? Coach Ben is one of the top coaches in our community. That's someone that was able to give us a standing innovation result in no time. So Coach Ben is giving like three things we need to join, look out for. Okay, number one, thank you very much, Coach Ben. Number one, don't look at the cost. Many people look at, oh, you know what, my budget is this. No. First, look for structure. Do they have systems? I can tell you everything about, oh, I can do this, I can do this, but do they have systems? Right. Now, the second thing you want to look for before joining a community, you want to look at credibility. Most often, have you seen that person actually even giving a presentation about Scrum or so? Right. Those are things you validate. Now, you validate before joining. You don't just join. Okay, you can also talk about other people who have been there, and they can share their experience of what they've been through. So, right. But the game. So before joining an environment, I want to look at this. I want to look at the repetition of the environment. I want to look at also talk, see if I can look at other people. You also want to look at, most of the time you definitely don't need to talk to other people. If you listen to me talk, I'm having a conversation with you now, right? Now, if you have been in Scrum, you should understand if I know what I'm saying or not, or if you understand what is my level of understanding. You don't need to go to someone else to tell you why, because I make myself available to teach you what you need to know. Now, the second thing for an environment which you want to join, we also have like great communities out there, but one of the biggest challenge with so many people that are in the leadership space or are delivering program is that they are afraid to share their knowledge. They're afraid to tell you what you need to know, because they think that if they tell you, you are going to now go and do it and not come to them, right? But the reason why I can tell you everything you need to know, if you go through my video, if you've been watching my video on YouTube, we even do like uh, all our question and answer. We share our practical stuff there. It's for you to learn. But you also agree with me that learning is by far beyond just you watching. It's about you also being in an environment. Environment create result. You also want to look at an environment where we have result, right? And people can say, you know what, I know about this environment, and I definitely can talk about it. Um, what do you think about business analysis, Scrum Master, project management, Scrum Master role? Should we stay away? Now, if you don't have a business analyst background or a project management background, don't go for it. But project management and Scrum Master, they're very close. They do almost the same thing. The advantage of a project manager is that the project manager is more technical. The project manager need to understand budgeting and scope, how to plan budgeting, how to plan scope, and all of those, which is not required by a Scrum Master. Business analyst is also a bit more technical into understanding all the business analytic and all of that. But this is also something you can quickly learn and fit into, but if you don't have the expertise, stay away, right? Charlene, text me, send me a text, and I'm gonna work with you. So send me a text. That's the number to send a text. The number to send a text, just look at the screen, send me a text, and uh when I talk with you, I will understand your zeal. All right, I'm a project manager with an NGO looking to become a Scrum Master, great potential, precision or agile. Okay, I feel strongly drawn towards their remote jobs hiring that are in Africa. Okay, I have people that are in Nigeria working in South Africa, people that are in Ghana working in South Africa. We also have other people working in Ghana. right? You can get remote jobs from Africa, but most often you can get in other African country. It's definitely we need you to put in a bit of time to stand out, but it's very possible, very very possible, right? It's workable. Yeah, you probably might not have the possibility. It's possible, but it's just that it's a bit tricky, right? To, let's say, stay in Africa and work in the United States. It's possible. Let me say, if I decide now to be a contractor and I take contract from any company, I can decide to start hiring my team from Africa. I have a way in which I can settle them out, but that's like something which you need to work about it. There are companies that can do that. So they take the contract and they can outsource. It's what happened, right? We have, for those who work in the Scrum environment, you realize that we have a lot of people working out from India, right? From India, they're joining from India. It's because of this collaboration where someone is established here, and the company here don't pay you directly from India. They pay with a contractor that is here. The contractor might have another branch there, then they figure out how to sort you out. So all of this stuff are possible. How does a Scrum coach a team adhere to Scrum principle? How does a Scrum master coach a team to adhere to Scrum principle? Nothing. You don't need to do anything. How do you coach somebody? Now, this is coaching, right? How do you teach your child on how to be a good child? That's the same question we're answering here. Right. Just be there. They see what you do, they copy from what you do. Right. If they don't know how to do something, come, let me show you how to do this. That is coaching. Be there for your team. They're going to follow your leading. Where you see that they lack something, teach them. Right. It's by practical, it's by doing. There's definitely no approach or no mathematics that you need to do to teach them. So I always say, when you think about Scrum, think more about how relationship operate. Like, oh, how do you help your team communicate better? Ask someone, okay, when you were in your first state, how do you learn how to communicate better? When people meet you, they're first skeptical, right? We have the talk man model of helping the team. When you meet someone new, you're skeptical of giving them information. You're like, oh, will this person help me? The more you start talking with them, the more you get in confidence, right? Now, let's say there are a couple of people that started following my live video when I started the first day. Oh, let me just talk in and see. Now, when they start listening, oh, this sounds interesting. Now they start joining subsequent, right? What happened? Communication. Just be there. You're not trying to put someone, oh, you have to join and all of that. No. So long as you're there for your team, you can figure out what they need and then you can help them. But you cannot say, oh, you know what, I'm going to start teaching them this, teaching them this, teaching them this. No. When you relate with people, you understand what they need and then you can better help them. All right. So, would you suggest one can start with project coordinator role in project support role and gain experience? Yeah, everyone has a different way to approach it. You want to focus a lot on how your passion is leading you, right? Having a challenge getting a Scrum job. Okay, Timitayo, send me a text. Will be able to unsolve your challenges. Send me a text. I think currently now I'm doing some free consultation for those who are stuck and need help. Right. So if you send me a text, I can be able to get you free consultation. It's 30-minute free consultation, depending on the availability, please. It's not I already have, like, almost this week, I opened it up to another community and we already have a lot of people that need that. And the free consultation is just to help you figure out what you need, because the problem many people are facing is not that they cannot get a job, is that they don't know, they are putting their effort in the wrong direction, so it's taking them a longer route. And then the last question for today says that, how do you resolve situation where your team is fully remote and they don't acknowledge your role as a scrum master for the team and don't offer you uh, collaboration you need? Okay, now, Abba, the only reason this is going to happen is because you are not a scrum master. You don't need you. There's nothing you need. Okay, I want to give you an example, right? Um, Many people who are actually listening to me here, you're not listening to me because I asked you to listen. You're listening because I'm providing value, and the value is what you need. So many team will not collaborate with their Scrum Master because the Scrum Master know nothing. They can see the value that Scrum Master is offering from them, so they don't see any reason to collaborate with them. So and I've had situation like that, like, oh, everybody go to put to my manager, they don't come to me. So I was like, okay, what's your relationship with your manager? What's your relationship with your PO? They're asking me to do this. I do everything that they ask me to do. It's like, okay, you're not of importance. And this is also a big challenge. Many people, I know you're going to struggle online on to do question and answer. You don't have the skills until you get a job. Now, when you get the job, you don't have the soft skills. It's not about Scrum, soft skills, how to communicate. In our community of practice, we do a lot of leadership training. How do you talk? How do you integrate with new people? How do you just be there for your team? I'll give you a practical example, right? We had one of the students who came to me for coaching. I was like, oh, all the time I send invite to my managers and my PO, I schedule meetings, they don't come, they cancel out. I said, because you don't know how to schedule meetings. Now just imagine, I'm your manager, and by the time you want to come, you've put a meeting on my calendar to meet at 2 o'clock. Even if I'm available, I'm not going to come. Right. Now, this is the approach. This is just simple things which help you now to gain and people understand that you know what to do. The first thing you do, this is also for all working Scrum Master. Don't just go and start putting meetings in people calendar. No, it doesn't work like that. Send them a quick message. Hello, Francis. I'm looking forward to learn about this. Would you mind if I put some time in your calendar? You have the power to put that time, but that doesn't mean that go do it. You are a coach. A coach simply means you build relationship, right? It's just like someone say, "Oh, will you mind if I call you at 5 p.m.? I know it's a bit late, but I wanted to seek your permission." Versus them calling you at that point late, you are not expecting their call. Are you going to pick? No. But if they pre-inform you, "Hey, will you mind me calling you at this time? I know it's a bit late, but I just wanted to ask your permission." Just because of the strategy they communicate, what happened? You open it for them. So they will not collaborate because you have not made yourself a Scrum Master. A Scrum Master builds communication and collaboration. So if your team doesn't collaborate, then you need coaching. You need very serious coaching, not just coaching, very serious coaching. Okay. As Scrum Master, do you need to have knowledge of software development programming? Okay. This is the reason why sometimes we feel like Scrum interview is very technical. Imagine you work at AutoZone, right? As a teller there, or you're selling motor part. You all your party say you're not a mechanic. Can you work in that space for 1 year without understanding most of the equipment that the mechanic use? They're going to come to you. Oh, I need this, and you have a conversation. Oh, my car was break down, and for me to connect it in the space of 1 year, you will understand almost all the technical. And at time, you can even suggest to someone that, oh no, from my experience, I'm not a mechanic, but this is what I've seen people do. You can even start coaching them on the technical stuff, like, oh, this one will not work. I've seen so many people purchase this equipment and they return it over and over again. So the reason why they often push to ask about what are the technologies that your team use, you cannot say, oh, I've been working with a Scrum team for 5 years and you don't even understand that coding is done by Java, by Python. You cannot even understand that, okay, we do code analysis with SonarQube and all of that. Then we definitely need to doubt if you're there. Now, those are the technical part and the practical stuff that you need in order uh to do that. So, Flaw, you can get to me. We're gonna sort that out. It's like a daily live video, please. Okay, Daniel. I think I did this. I've been doing this for 5 days straight, right? 5 days straight. I made my point. I told myself I want to do the 5 days straight. I've done that already. Tomorrow, which is Wednesday and Thursday, I might come on live based on my availability. I'll check my calendar. If I have some availability, most often put the notification before time. All right, everybody, my time is up, but I will see you on the other side. That's my number on the screen. If you definitely are interested in having an analysis of what you're missing or what you need to do, you can feel free to reach out to me, and I should be able to help you navigate towards the right stuff. The most important things for you to do is to understand what you need to do. The most important thing is understand what you need to do in order to get to where you want to get to. If you don't understand it, it's going to be very difficult. You realize that some people say, "Oh, I've been here for, I've been doing this for days. I'm tired. I feel like," no, it's just because you did not understand what you need to do. And that's my number on the screen. You can send me a text. Please don't call, because after a meeting, I'm getting to another meeting. After another meeting, I'm getting to another meeting. After another meeting, I'm getting to another meeting. That's why we say send a text, and then we can find a time to talk. I can get you on my calendar, or I can text back and we'll pick a good time to talk. All right. Any other questions? I'm gonna answer them in my next video. I will see you next. And see if please do share this. We actually did share a lot. And also, if on YouTube, I'm gonna on YouTube. I'll be putting our YouTube link is Scrum chat room. I'll be releasing um about 50 questions and answer for your interview any of these days. So you definitely want to be uh okay, that's my YouTube name, Safe Scrum Chat Room. You'll be able to find me on YouTube. For those of you that have not subscribed there, I'll be releasing this video end of today or tomorrow morning. About 50 plus question and answer. It's just about question, answer to help you close the gap. So you can find me on YouTube, Safe no, Safe Scrum Chat Room is not just Safe Chat Room. Let me make sure I correct that. Um Safe Scrum Chat Room. Okay, so there's it. Safe Scrum Chat Room. That's the name on YouTube. You'll be able to find me, subscribe, and you can await more videos there. Okay, everybody. See you on the other side.